The Cascade had swept through the Meridian system 3 months ago, and Dr. Ethan Cross was still among the living. He wasn't sure if that was luck or tragedy yet. The catastrophic energy wave had destabilized planetary shields across multiple worlds, killing thousands and leaving the survivors struggling to rebuild with no external support. Verdant Five's main colony settlements were devastated. Ethan's remote research station, isolated in agricultural fields, had somehow survived intact. Now he existed in strange solitude, tending automated greenhouses, scavenging abandoned facilities, trying not to think about the communication silence from the rest of the system. His family on Earth, his colleagues, everyone he knew might be dead, and he had no way to find out. One morning, checking emergency beacon signals out of habit rather than hope, Ethan discovered a crashed escape pod half buried in the cultivated fields. Veyran design, he recognized the elegant curved hull, but it had been here for weeks, maybe months, slowly failing. Inside, he found a Veyran woman, unconscious but alive, her long, elegant ears limp, her breathing shallow. Malnourished, dehydrated, clearly injured from the crash. Ethan carefully extracted her from the pod and carried her back to his research station. Over the following days, he tended her injuries with limited medical knowledge and emergency supplies, watching her slowly stabilize. When she finally regained consciousness, her luminous eyes opened with confusion and fear. Ethan introduced himself carefully, explained where she was and what had happened. Then he asked her name. She stared at him blankly. He asked where she was from, what ship she was on, if there was anyone he should contact. Nothing. Her long ears drooped with distress as she realized she had no answers. The crash, the trauma, or perhaps the Cascade itself had erased her memories completely. She didn't know her name, her origin, her past. She didn't know anything except the fear of waking up empty. Ethan named her Aria, after a musical term from Earth meaning a self-contained piece, complete unto itself, because she needed something to call herself. She accepted it with a small nod that might have been gratitude. The first weeks were difficult. Aria moved through the research station like a ghost, clearly intelligent but lacking reference points for basic activities. She didn't know how to operate human equipment. She didn't recognize common foods. She could speak, both Veyran and human standard, but had no context for conversations beyond immediate needs. Ethan taught her everything with patient repetition. How the shower worked, which greenhouse plants were edible, how to adjust environmental controls, what different alarm tones meant. He showed her his daily routines, and gradually Aria began participating rather than just observing. She was a quick learner, though every new skill clearly frustrated her because she couldn't tell if she once knew these things or was learning them for the first time. One evening, Ethan found her in the greenhouse, crying silently among the tomato plants. Her long ears hung limp with despair. He sat beside her, careful to maintain respectful distance, and asked what was wrong. "I don't know who I was," Aria whispered. "What if I was someone terrible? What if there are people looking for me and I don't even know to look back? What if I had a family and they think I'm dead and I can't even remember their faces?" Ethan was quiet for a moment. "I can't tell you who you were, but I can tell you who you're choosing to be now. And the person I've seen these past weeks is kind, curious, and trying really hard despite being terrified. That counts for something." Aria's ears lifted slightly, cautious hope. What if my past was better than this? What if I'm supposed to be somewhere else, someone else? "Maybe," Ethan admitted. "But right now you're here, and here isn't so bad, is it?" For the first time since waking, Aria managed a small smile. "No, here isn't bad." After that conversation, something shifted. Aria stopped dwelling on the unknowable past and started engaging with the present. She asked Ethan to teach her about his work, agricultural science, crop genetics, the delicate balance of maintaining food production with limited resources. She was fascinated by how plants responded to different conditions, how tiny variables in soil composition or light exposure created massive changes in growth. Ethan suspected she might have been a scientist before, but he didn't say so, didn't want to create false memories or expectations. Instead, he just taught and Aria learned, and slowly the research station stopped feeling quite so lonely. Months passed, and seasons changed on Verdant 5. Ethan and Aria developed comfortable routines, their initial awkwardness evolving into genuine partnership. Aria took over managing the greenhouse's environmental systems, optimizing growing conditions with intuitive understanding that suggested some buried scientific background. Ethan focused on field cultivation and equipment repair. They shared meals, swapped stories, Ethan about his childhood on Earth, his family who he hoped survived the Cascade but couldn't contact, his dreams of making Verdant 5 productive again. Aria contributed what she could. Observations about the present, questions about Earth culture, slowly developing opinions about food and music, and which of Ethan's terrible jokes were actually funny. She was building a personality from scratch, and Ethan watched with something like awe as she became more herself. Not the person she was before, but someone new, someone choosing her own preferences and values without the weight of prior expectations. One evening, Ethan played music from his old collection, pre-Cascade entertainment files downloaded for lonely nights. Aria was mesmerized by Earth classical music, her long ears angling forward with intense focus. When a particularly beautiful piece ended, she had tears in her luminous eyes. "Did I know music before?" she asked. "I feel like this should be familiar, but it's not. It's like experiencing something precious for the first time, except there's this ache underneath, like I'm remembering losing something I never had." Ethan understood. She was mourning a past she couldn't access, grieving for experiences and connections that might never have existed or might be irretrievably lost. "I can't give you back your memories," he said gently, "but I can give you new ones. Different, maybe not better, but real, if you want them." Aria looked at him with an expression that made Ethan's heart skip. "I want them. I want this. The greenhouse and the terrible jokes and the music. I want to remember this." So they started deliberately creating moments worth remembering. Ethan taught Aria to cook human food, resulting in spectacular failures and occasional successes they celebrated like major victories. Aria taught Ethan Veyran meditation techniques, muscle memory responses her body retained even when her mind forgot everything else. They explored abandoned sections of the colony, finding small treasures. A library of data crystals, recreational facility with ancient gaming equipment, an observation deck where they watched Verdant 5's twin moons rise. Each experience became a shared memory, a building block of the life they were constructing together. One night under those twin moons, Aria said something that changed everything. "Thank you for giving me a life when I had none, for not treating me like a problem to solve or a mystery to unravel, for just letting me be whoever I'm becoming." Ethan realized he'd fallen in love with her, not with who she was, but with who she'd chosen to be. And he had no idea if she felt the same, or if such feelings were even fair when she had no framework for understanding them. The turning point came when they finally re-established contact with the wider system. A rescue ship arrived at Verdant 5, responding to old distress signals and surveying survivors. The captain was shocked to find not only a human agronomist, but also a Veyran woman. There were rumors of a missing Veyran medical transport that disappeared during the Cascade. The captain had access to personnel databases and could potentially identify her. Aria was torn. Part of her desperately wanted answers, wanted to know who she was, if there was family searching for her, what life she lost. But another part was terrified of discovering a past that didn't include Ethan, didn't include the greenhouse and the terrible jokes and the twin moons. Ethan, seeing her distress, made the decision easy. "We'll find out together. And whatever we learn, it doesn't erase the past year. Those memories are yours now, no matter what else you remember." The database search revealed her identity, Dr. Riven Ashala, a xenobotanist specializing in agricultural adaptation, who was traveling to Verdant 5 to consult on crop failures when the Cascade hit. Her transport was destroyed. Her colleagues died. She was listed as presumed dead. Her family held memorial services months ago. Aria, Riven, stared at the information with strange detachment. She saw images of herself from before. Confident, professional, surrounded by research team and family whose faces meant nothing to her. She read about her accomplishments, her publications, her life. It was like reading about a stranger. "Do you want to return to Veyran Prime?" the captain asked gently. "Your family will want to know you're alive." Riven looked at Ethan, then at the research station that had become home, then back at the life she couldn't remember. "I was a xenobotanist," she said slowly, "working on agricultural adaptation. I was coming here to help with crop problems." She turned to Ethan. "I found what I was looking for, just not the way anyone expected." She chose to stay, not because she was trapped by amnesia or lacking options, but because the life she'd built with Ethan over the past year was more real than a past she couldn't access. She contacted her family, who were overjoyed she was alive and devastated by her memory loss. They offered to come to Verdant 5 to help her remember, but Riven gently declined for now. She wasn't ready to be Dr. Riven Ashala, accomplished xenobotanist with history and family expectations. She was still figuring out who Aria was, the person who emerged from trauma and memory loss with Ethan's patient help. The rescue ship left supplies and communication equipment, promises to return in 6 months. Verdant 5 was officially reopening for resettlement, and Ethan and Riven would be among the first permanent residents of the rebuilding colony. As the ship departed, Riven stood in the greenhouse surrounded by thriving plants, with Ethan beside her, and realized something profound. Her past might be gone, but Ethan had given her something far greater, a future built from kindness, shared moments, and love that transcended memory itself. "Do you regret staying?" Ethan asked quietly. "Regret choosing this over recovering your memories?" Riven's long ears angled forward, contentment and certainty. "I have memories now. Real ones that I built consciously instead of inheriting from a past I can't touch. Every moment with you, every plant we've grown, every terrible joke and beautiful moonrise and hard day and small victory, those are mine in a way my old life could never be. Because I chose them." She took his hand, and Ethan's heart filled with gratitude for the Cascade's cruel mercy. It took everything from her but gave them both a chance to build something new. Years later, when Verdant 5 thrived as an agricultural hub, and their research station had expanded into a full xenobotanical institute, when Riven's family visited regularly and had learned to love the person she